point is this, right? So if our forefathers, right, they worshipped something, now they've moved away from African spirituality to Christianity. What's wrong with that? What's wrong? Even though God does not exist, but why can't we just worship what we want to worship? What's wrong with
Thank you.
what's wrong with delusion? If you look, wait, let me finish my point. We've been through so much. We need hope, right? Because clearly there is a need for us to believe into. Our ancestors did it. They believed in something. There's always these stories. My question is, what's wrong with that? If we need that to hope, to go through life, because life is hard for everybody, right? What's wrong if we actually say, you know what? Sure, if it's not true, but it just helps us go through life, and we need it. So what's wrong with that? What's the sin in that? It doesn't hurt anybody. Well,
Man, you already asked the question. You don't have to ask it 10,000 ways, 10,000 times. Let me tell you what's wrong with
listen,
it.
bro, you are hard on your life, man. I just had to make sure that you are clear with the question. That's all.
I heard you. Let me ask you a question, bro.
All right. So what's wrong with that?
Before I answer you, what's wrong with being a slave?
What's wrong with being a slave? It's just you don't have freedom. It sucks. You'd rather not be a slave, really, if you can help it.
Okay, good. If you believe in a God that you did not invent, you're a slave. So I'm asking you a question. If you believe in the religion that you didn't make up yourself, you're a slave to whoever made that religion. Period.
Okay. Wait,
if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Okay, wait. But if you were born a slave and then you invent a God to help you go through life, is that bad too?
If you are born a slave and you have a God, that means that you're guaranteed to stay a slave your whole life. You could be free. Listen, bro. Listen.
Nah,
You could be free. You could be free if you start believing in God, because a belief in God is what makes you submit. A person who doesn't believe in God has no reason to submit. That means you will fight for your freedom.
Wait, no, but hang on. You do know some people that actually are not born slaves? You know that, right? They're not Christians, but they find themselves in like extreme hardships, and then they started thinking, oh man, what do I do? And then they come up with the concept of a God to help them go through those hard times. It helps those people. For me, I'm just saying, like, is that wrong? Like, for me, it's not
that
wrong.
is wrong.
Bro.
That's wrong. And let me help you first of all.
Yeah.
When it comes to black people didn't worship anything. Okay? Worship is a 100% Eurocentric idea. What black people did was we coexisted in harmony with everything around us. So anything that has use to us, we will give it its own place among us. For example, if we have a river where the whole village goes and drinks from that river, we will begin to treat that river like it's a person. We'll give that river respect. So we'll begin to associate different things and different aspects of our being. We'll even celebrate the river. If we had a tree, hold on, bro. If we had a tree that gave everyone fruit and food, we will also celebrate the tree. We will create different personifications and entertain ourselves with that. It was an entertainment system. But as far as worship, we did not worship, neither do we submit to any type of gods or deities. That is a Eurocentric idea.
No, Bakanga, we did. What about our ancestors? Like, didn't we worship our ancestors? Not only that, but also like voodoo and all that stuff. Like, that's worship of the dead.
Voodoo is mental and herbal science put together. It's African science, bro. Let me tell you something. You have to understand that we are melanated people and we don't really wear clothes because the sun is not our enemy. The more we don't wear clothes, the more we interact with the sun. We don't really need shoes because the dirt does not kill and destroy us, right? So our cultures develop in that way. Our cultures develop in a way that will make sure that nature does not get destroyed. So we did not have that natural inclination to develop technology that destroys nature or other natural things. We were more like caretakers. We're more like gardeners. Our technology and our way of thinking is that way. So we spend a lot of time trying to understand why animals work the same way, right? For example, if a disease comes into the compound and that disease is killing a bunch of humans, but it doesn't kill the cows, we begin to ask ourselves, well, why did the cows have immunity? Then we begin to observe the cows. We notice that the cows eat this certain flour that's on this certain hill that only grows at this specific season. So we go and get that flour and we start putting it in our food. The next year comes around and only half of the people who died. So we go back again, we look again, we notice that the cow, when he eats, he only eats this amount. He doesn't eat too much. So we get the dosage. That is how African science developed. It became known as voodoo because guess what? We studied every animal around us. Every animal, bro. We knew how to solve all our problems by copying our environment. And we use different rituals to celebrate the fact that we got this knowledge and information. We use metaphors to describe our happiness towards it. When the Europeans came and saw it, they called it witchcraft, they called it black magic. And yet, when you go to the hospital, they give you a blood transfusion. Isn't that blood magic? Don't you think that blood transfusion is blood magic? And yet, when a woman is pregnant, you go to the hospital and they cut her open and give her a C-section. Isn't that witchcraft? Isn't that witchcraft? And yet, when someone doesn't like you, they get a gun and come and break into your house. Isn't that wickedness? Is that worse than witchcraft? Think about it, man.
No, okay, wait. One final question before I step down, because I know you've got a lot of guests. So, two questions actually. Wait, so if our religion or our way of practice was so great, so why did we get rid of it? Like, why did we not continue?
We didn't get rid of it. We didn't get rid of it,
bro. What are you talking about? Like, Africa is like we are half Muslim and half Christian.
No.
What do you mean? No, it's the truth, isn't it?
No, we're not half Muslim, half Christians. No.
I'm saying now, like, half of
we
us.
We are one quarter people who are confused between Christianity and traditional African beliefs, and we have another quarter of the people who are confused between Islam and traditional African belief. That's why you notice that when you go into Islam, the way Africans do is different from the way the Arabs do it, because Africans have their own traditions that they cannot really get rid of. They don't want to get rid of. So they find a way to merge the two. And that's what's creating conflict. The same thing with Christians. Listen, bro, you don't see Americans going around and say, I rebuke you in Jesus' name in the street. Or when it's election time, they begin to pray and say, thunder fire. Have you ever heard an American say, thunder fire you? Americans don't talk like that. That's African culture. That's our tradition. That's how we do things, where we come from, right? So you have to notice that the Christians in Africa are really not Christians. They are Africans who have been Christianized. They can't really practice Christianity the way they want to because they are still under the influence of African traditions. Every African still has their village tradition, their village dance. All those things are demonic. Are they not? They even have their village language. So you see, Africans are confused. The problem with Christianity and Islam is that it's got us so confused and so divided. We cannot unite to build a nation, to build a civilization for ourselves. We need to get rid of those beliefs so we can see what we actually do have in common. And then if we want to practice those religions, we can practice those religions. But only after we have properly defined ourselves. Most Africans are confused what they are. They don't know if they're Muslim or if they're black. They don't know if they're Christian or if they're black. The white man is not confused. The white man knows he's white. And guess what? He made a system where you got white privilege. Whether you like it or not, you're not going to come into his system and get better benefits than him. You got to be crazy. The Chinese man has done the same thing. And now he has risen to the top of the world. But the black man is doing what? Father, in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, I command every evil spirit.
wait. No, wait. Final question then. So if we get rid of all these religions, what do we replace it with? I mean, if we get rid of Islam and do we go back to the ancient voodoo worship?
No. If we get rid of this religion, the first thing we're going to notice is that we don't lose our morality, we don't lose our good behavior, we don't lose our principle, because our principles are actually more natural to us. Our morality and our principle are already in our tribal languages. You see, every tribe has a code of conduct already, right? It's not Islam that really makes you a good person. It's because of where you come from. That's why you believe that you're not going to steal, you're not going to kill, you're not going to murder, because that's just how your people have always lived. When you get rid of Islam, you no longer have an Arab behavior. You no longer have the need to try to be like somebody else. So you can now define your own image, and you can now focus on science and technology. Science and technology is what we will replace all those fantasies with. Let us build machines. Let us build machines, bro. Let us build machines machines in our own image. Let us write computer codes that are coded in our tribal languages. Bro, do you think that if you can build computer codes and create mathematics, what is mathematics? Mathematics is an algorithm. It is a process of thinking. It is just one way of thinking, bro. There is multiple ways of calculation with numbers. Chinese mathematics is different. In fact, even the algorithm that we use for AI today is not the same as the mathematics you learn in school. Algebra is different from mathematics, right? Arithmetic is different from mathematics. Calculus is different from mathematics. Trigonometry is different from mathematics. Why do we Africans, we already had a way of doing things. And this is what I'm telling Africans today that you don't know. The algorithm that was used to build the pillars that we call today the pyramids, because pyramids are not pyramids. If you dig the ground under the pyramids, they are huge pillars, more than 200 foot tall. The pyramid is just the top of it. And if you go into the Sahara Desert, there is a lot just like it, bro. It shows that something happened. There is some truth to the story that water flooded the Mediterranean at some point. The whole of North Africa and the Mediterranean was once underwater. Once was put underwater by something. And what that water did was the water brought sand and it covered an entire civilization under the sand, bro. The pyramid is just some of the pillars that are sticking out of the ground. If you go into the pyramids, you will keep going down and down and down and down. Bro, you will have to dig out all the sand in the Sahara to find what I'm saying. That civilization was so advanced, bro. It is what we think that heaven is. They had cities of gold. The streets were made of gold. They had glass. They had electricity. What we call witchcraft today is the remnant of that technology, bro. Being able to disappear, being able to dematerialize yourself and go to a solid object and then rematerialize yourself.
Man,
Being able to,
yeah,
being able
I don't know.
being able to wirelessly project your awareness, like what witches and wizards do, right? Being able to insert yourself into someone's neurological network and literally affect the way they think from inside consciously. That's the same thing as going into someone's dream. That is why the Europeans have called their science research. They are researching. Most people don't even realize it's right in front of you. They are searching for something that was already here. And every European technology is reverse engineering. It is all reverse engineering. They are reverse engineering whatever they find. That is why you notice that every mathematical formula is named after a European. Every discovery is named after a European. Every place in the world has to be. When they had power, what they did was they erased the history of the whole world and rewrote it in their image, including religion. All those gods of old were human beings. Bro, that civilization was so advanced. The kings and the queens and the nobility lived like gods compared to the regular people. They had extremely long lifespan. Something happened in this world. Something significant happened. Human beings like us, we are not the top species of humanoids. There are other humanoids that live longer than us, that are bigger and stronger than us, that have a higher IQ than us. Whatever happened.
Bro, Bakanga, wait, sorry, bro. I hear what you're saying, but my logic, right? Just
Right.
naturally, I'm questioning, like, if we were so great, right? So why did we get defeated? Because that's what what's
Thank
happening
you.
right now.
I'm gonna tell you the simple. The simple is secret, bro. It has something to do with the sun.
Huh? What do you mean?
Are you black?
Yeah, bro. I'm blacker than black, bro. I'm blacker than you.
When you step out of your house, do you think about the sun? Do you think about sunscreen? Do you think about any type of protection? Do you think about the dangers of stepping out into the sun? Does that cross your mind?
No, to be honest, not
Okay.
really.
There are some human beings in this world that they can't step out of their house unless they think about it, bro. It's a real problem. I don't care how rich they are, bro. Donald Trump, he can't leave his house, bro, without thinking about the fact that, oh shit, I might get sunburned.
Okay.
You don't have to. Have you ever wondered why you don't get sunburned?
To be honest, I know obviously like about melanin and all that stuff, but I've never really cared, to be honest. It's just not been like a
How
thing.
can something so little as melanin give you such an unfair advantage over different humanoids? How can something as magnificent as melanin that can shield you from solar radiation only have one utility? And not only is that, but you are pigmented inside out. So even your blood is pigmented. Your bones and your skeletons are. A human being that is black has the ability to break down sunlight energy the same way as solar panels. So naturally, if you fed yourself enough sunlight, you will live longer, you will be physically stronger, you will be more athletic. Listen, bro,
Well,
whatever it is,
and wait, I
listen,
know about.
hold on,
Yeah,
bro. Whatever it is that made us be where we are today is a lack of education. So at some point there was a disconnection, right? So yeah, I am suspecting the human factor. Wherever you had human beings, like I said, we were not the dominant species, bro. There are other species of humanoids. Okay, so it's not like we were dominant, but we were powerful because we had our natural affinity, what we call witchcraft today. There's some type of witchcraft that they say is witchcraft of the blood, right? The reason why it's witchcraft of the blood is because we have the natural ability to control elements when we are properly educated upon what we really are. If you notice, bro, in the world today, every scientific fact about black people is not done and researched by black people. It's not. Black people don't research themselves. They don't do no. Bro, melanin is not being researched by black folks.
yeah, that's true.
Bro, we don't do no research, bro. We don't know what the hell we are. We only know what we've been told we are. And the white man spent a long time investing money trying to convince us that we were monkeys and only monkeys.
No, wait. By the way, what you were saying, that's true, bro. I had an experience with my uncle. My uncle, he studies sociology at a university here, and he goes like, oh, so he went to ask for a when he was done with his degree, he goes like, oh, I want to go study Europeans, and then his colleagues were like, what? No, why would an African go study Europeans? And so you should go study somewhere else. He goes like, oh, you're not allowed to study them, but they're like all over our business. So that's true. No, but that doesn't still answer my
Bro,
question though. Like,
bro, if
I'm
we study them, hold up, bro. I'm telling you, you've
yeah.
you've you've caught my curiosity because this is one of the subjects I want to really educate our people on. So the rule is that Darwin is right. What's really going on in this world is an evolutionary process. It doesn't matter if there was an intelligent factor involved, it is still an evolutionary process. And it is going to come down to the survival of the fittest. So the most fit species is going to exterminate the other one, whether voluntarily or involuntarily. Now, the only species that is capable of doing that naturally is us. If black people married every other race in the world, all those other races will disappear. The black man is the only male species that can have a baby, and that baby always looks like him. If the Caucasian man has a baby with a black woman, that baby is not going to look like him. If the Asian man has a baby with a black woman, that baby is not going to look like him. But if the black man has a baby with a white woman, that baby is always going to be black. If he has a baby with an Asian woman, that baby is always going to be black. It doesn't matter. Genetically, we have a natural genetic dominance. And that is not the same thing as black superiority. That is just a scientific fact. We have longevity as a species. So if evolution is true, we are the most evolved. If creation is the true, we are the most advanced. We are so advanced that culturally we became gullible because we were untouchable for a very long time. There was no kingdom in this world that could make war with us. Not the Romans. Nobody, bro. Physically, it didn't really take much of us, bro. The world changed, and this new form of technology developed. Projectile types of weapons, and we were slow to it. We're just barely catching up. That's what scares those who rule the world today, bro. What scares them is that African or black skinned people get access to the full scope of the ancient technology. Because what we will develop is that we will create a civilization that will last another 100,000 years like the old one. We were so
Yeah.
dominant for such a long time, bro. White people have been here for a long time, bro. They've been here for a long time just like us. There's no way to tell who's been here longer. But we used to dominate for so long, bro. It took that long for them to overthrow us. I'm telling you, the entirety of history has been rewritten. The only thing that is left in the African dialects. If the next generation, listen, bro, ever since colonialism, every generation of Africans slowly forgets the dialects. When the
Yeah,
generation of
I forgot
African,
mine.
when the last generation of African forgets how to speak the original indigenous African dialects, we will go extinct. The only thing that will protect us is if we keep our mother tongue, because our mother tongue is unlearnable to those who are not like us, and it still possesses the secrets of that ancient technology. Because our people, bro, we were a type of AI that has the ability to store so much information. Our culture was based on memorization instead of intellectualization. You see,
Mm,
intelligence, as we know it today, is connected to learning, and learning is connected to scripting. You see, some humans can't learn if you don't write down the information for them because they forget a lot. But you and I don't know if you grew up in Africa. You know that in Africa, we didn't. Everybody memorized, bro.
yeah,
We
rock memory.
memorized.
Yeah,
Our all our languages are not written on paper. You don't go to school to learn how to speak. You memorize everything. If you're walking to the jungle and it takes you one day to get to the farm, you memorize the road. By the time you're an old man, you've memorized more than 10,000 different roads that lead to 10,000 different places, which is literally impossible for a person who doesn't have a GPS to find. You live in
yeah.
a place that is so hostile to human beings, even the flies are not your enemy. There is something about us that we need to relearn. It's not black supremacy. It's just us learning who we are. It's just that we've been inferior for such a long time. Some of us feel guilty learning about what we really are. Now, there's this crazy, messed up stuff that I've been hearing. People talk about, oh, black people are indigenous to the America. No, black people are not indigenous to the Americas.
Oh,
When black people came to the Americas, we came to the Americas as visitors. Yes, we helped the indigenous Americans to build pyramids, and they even built more than us. They had cities, right? The reason why it appears as though there is more pyramids in North America is because less of North America was covered under the sand. Go and look at the map of the world and look which continent has the most desert. What you call the desert is a weapon. It's a weapon that kills the earth and turns it to sand. It is slowly spreading. Eventually, the whole Congo, that weapon was designed to destroy the whole Congo. The Congo used to go up all the way to Libya. That used to be all green. That used to be all green.
yeah. Oh man. Look, I'm gonna say two things before I draw down. Right. Number one, look, we with the issue of God. I didn't really know some people say black people are indigenous to America. I've never heard of that before. That's interesting. But look, I'm gonna look when I look at Africa, that's like the capital city of black people, right? It's like the main center of black people. There's like what, 1 billion plus black people there. And when I look at that continent, every time I go back home, two things happens. I see what you're saying, that religion is a bad thing because it blinds people. You see, I see it, bro. It's sad, bro. You see them worshiping like a white Jesus and things like that. You go like, bruh, like that's what? It's and some of them they're like, spending a lot of money giving to their. You see, it's wrong, but on the other hand, you see the benefit of it. Like some people are like their conditions are so dire and they're so bad, you go like, okay, maybe they do need some sense of hope. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we should just take it easy and like slowly, like, people that don't want to believe in that stuff, but let's leave them to their belief if it helps them with their condition.
No,
No,
no. This is
Jesus.
about survival of the species. I'm telling you, bro. We're not leaving nobody to their beliefs. We're not. We can't. We can't afford to. We are a new generation of African. We are exactly the worst nightmare of those who rule this world because we are slowly awakening. Our species will survive. And we will survive without raising a violent hand against anybody. We'll just survive by remembering who we are. The only way we'll go extinct is if we forget ourselves. We have every advantage except the one like this because we've been very gullible for a long time. The only reason why we got colonized in the first place is because listen, bro, the old African kings used to laugh at the Europeans, bro. The reason why they were trading with the Europeans is just because It's easy to get rid of someone that you don't like. But they didn't really understand the magnitude of what the Europeans were doing to the black people they were taking to the Americas. They didn't understand. If they knew what they were doing, they wouldn't have sold even their worst enemy. They laugh at them. They did not think the Europeans capable of physically dominating them. So they laughed it off until the European pulled up with cannons, bro,
It's
and guns.
facts.
And even when the Europeans put up with cannons and guns, Africans already had cannons and guns. But we still have so much confidence in spears and being able to wield physical strength that we didn't realize that, well, gun technology is increasing. And the more automatic guns became, the more they had an advantage. That is why in 1884, they got together in Berlin and decided to invade Africa officially. But the Ethiopians successfully fought them back because the Ethiopians also had some weapons. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Ethiopians brag about we never got colonized. They are correct. Bro, gun technology, the Arabs and the Chinese were trading with everybody, bro. We could have bought every weapon on earth too. We had gold, we had bronze, we had all the money. We had too much pride though. We had too much pride.
So, all right, I'm just gonna.
By the
Man, I got
time we realized what was happening, bro, their missionaries were all over our land. And they started convincing our young ones. And before you knew, the young ones started hating the elders, bro. And then before you knew, now you had all these new movements called churches. And then you started having these things called revival. Before you knew, the young ones started destroying the parents. They would sell out their own parents. Before you knew, they had schools. Before you knew, bro, my dad told me that when they were growing up, going to school was something that their parents would use to threaten them when they were misbehaving. Because they knew what would happen to children in the white man's school. If you were black in Africa and they sent you to the white man's school, that means that they were going to beat you. Because the white man they used to beat the children to teach them. And eventually that system never died out. It's still in Africa till today. Someone convinced Africans that we have to beat children in order to teach them. Meanwhile, you come to the Western world, that shit is illegal in school. You can't beat children in school. Have you ever wondered why Africans still beat their children in school? Why it's still legal?
yeah,
Think about it.
yeah. Damn. Now I used to get flogged, man, in school. So I know what you're talking about.
Bro, I used to fight with my dad from the time I was 5 years old in the name of discipline, bro, because I was desperately trying to tell him that he's hurting me, bro. And that's the same is true for every kid that grew up in our generation. But eventually you just got so strong, you took the beating.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, religion is definitely. Look, I saw what's that guy, Pope Francis. He did like a tour of Africa, and you could just see he was like kissing the feet of the politicians. Like I could see it, bro. Like they know that people are starting to just have a bit of opposition. That's why they're all like doing all this pandering on the continent. But bro, I don't know, man.
The worst nightmare of those who rule this world is happening. China discovered the secret and the weakness of the Europeans. China discovered that it was Africa. So the Chinese figured, if we develop ourselves and help the Africans develop, nobody can win a war against us. The Chinese truly have a desire to be our allies. But still in the process, they want to have an unfair advantage. The Chinese don't want to exterminate us. They want to gain an advantage, but not from the perspective of colonization.
Well, look, hey, listen, I've taken too much of your time. I'll come back later, bro. Thank you so much, man.
No, it's not good. Listen. For me, it's how the conversation flows that makes my mind work the way it works. And I am talking about these things not so you can believe me.
No, bro.
Don't believe a single word. Not you, bro. To everyone.
Yeah.
Don't believe anything I'm saying. Please.
Nah, thanks.
I'm just
Thanks,
telling you a story. Later. I'm just telling you a story which might or might not be true. There's no way for you to know. But what you need to know is that something is wrong with the way we are. Look at it yourself. And if you see what I have seen, then come together with me. Let us develop science and technology in the image of the black man. Period.